Hey everyone, sorry for the technical difficulties. Thank you guys for joining me. Let me know that you guys can hear me pretty well. I do want to thank you guys for joining this evening. Don't forget to hit that like button when you guys come on in. And if you haven't already done so, join the family by hitting that subscribe button. As promised, this week we will be discussing some heavy stuff. Oh, great, great. Hey, Erica. Glad you guys can make it. I'm just looking at you guys' comments. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing because my laptop is right here. Can you guys still hear me? Just doing some double checks and triple checks and all of that good stuff. Because, of course, what I want to show up on the screen doesn't want to download. And that's evil. So, how are you guys doing this evening? Let me know how you guys are doing as I'm switching screens and whatnot. Sorry for the lengthy pause. I'm kind of working on something right now. I do apologize. I'm just trying to get something together because what I wanted to download didn't download, of course. Let's see if this works because I'm going to scream if it doesn't. Hey, Paris, how are you doing? I wasn't talking for a minute. Let me know if you can hear me now. I'm trying to download something. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? And of course, we're still dealing with Mercury retrograde. So let me know if you guys can hear me. I'm trying to keep up with the comments. And of course, everything I'm choosing is a video. Sheila, you can hear me? I'm sorry, you guys. We're like 20 minutes in and having technical difficulties per use. So we're good. Okay, Sheila. Sheila can hear. I'm not sure what's on your end, Paris, because Sheila can hear. Yeah, definitely retrograde. I do apologize. So, what you guys see on the screen is what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the Will and Jada situation. Yeah. The Will and Jada situation, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, Blac Chyna and Rob situation, and a host of many other things. So again, I do want to apologize for the delay. I'm just going to chalk everything up to Mercury retrograde because that's coming on May 10th. And we all know Mercury retrograde hits early for some of us before it actually hits. So we've been seeing all in social media, on the internet, on TV, what's been going on with celebrities. And something had drawn to my attention about toxic femininity. And that is a thing. I believe it's a thing. I'm not for sure about you guys. You guys sound in. But I believe toxic femininity is a thing. And we always talk about toxic masculinity. And what I want to bring up is, let's see, share screen. Um, no, that's not what I want. Okay, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. Now, how do I get rid of this? Well, I don't want to share screen now. Stop sharing. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity is something that we all know about, we all talk about. And toxic masculinity, let me close out some of this stuff. Close tab. Do you guys believe toxic femininity is a thing? Because toxic masculinity refers to certain harmful cultural and societal norms that are associated with masculinity, such as maintaining an appearance of being tough or dominant, encouraging violent attitudes and behavior, and suppressing emotions or distress. The term does not indicate the masculinity in itself is toxic, but the normalization of harmful norms associated with masculinity is considered toxic. Now, another way to define toxic masculinity becomes toxic when men feel they need to conform to rigid gender norms, which include acting like a bully to maintain a constant competitive advantage, avoiding losing at all costs, restraining one's emotions, except for pride and anger, which are the only acceptable masculine emotions to express, showing strength and aggression in moments of conflict, being dominant over women and other men, which is typically displayed through microaggression. Now, we all heard about this type of behavior. Who can we name as have those type of behaviors, especially when they're trying to dominate over women? Um, the people of the likes of Harvey Weinstein, um, Donald Trump. He shows toxic masculinity. Who else? Who else shows toxic masculinity? It's so many people that shows toxic masculinity, and it's usually people in, that we see in the celebrity world, people of power that abuse their power and they try to lord it over people. Now, when it comes to women, this is something that we don't talk about. We always talk about toxic masculinity, but for some odd apparent reason, we don't transform that to women. And now recently we've have three high profile women showcased in the media that exhibit toxic masculinity. Basically, it's using their femininity to maintain control over a situation. And this happens in the workplace as well. When you have a workplace full of women, is competitive, and it becomes toxic because you have those that are in higher positions that lord their position over their subordinates, and they make their subordinates life a living hell because of it. They do it because they have that position and because they can. So toxic femininity. Look at Will and Jada for a second. Will and Jada have been having issues for years. We've been through the whole, oh, they may have an open relationship. He's cheating, she's cheating. Then there was the situation with everyone finding out that they have weird kids. They have a weird family. Um, then you have the August Alsina situation. And when you look at the situation and what happened at the Oscars, you can see that there's a toxicity in that relationship. You could physically see a situation that has reached a peak, and Will exhibited a behavior that is not in his, like, no one never seen Will act this way. And he's acting this way based off of his wife's actions. Purely based off his wife's actions. Not to my knowledge, Sheila, Will, and Jada are not getting a divorce as of yet. But you see toxicity. You see Jada using her red table talk. Yes, it's a great way of showcasing family issues that need to be discussed, women's issues, society issues. It's an awesome way of bringing light to certain topics that really need to be talked about. But what we really need to talk about, what she needs to talk about on her Red Table Talk, is something that I don't recall her talking about on her Red Table Talk, is toxic females. Sorry, not sorry, but that's a thing. That's a thing. When a woman, and obviously I'm a woman, but when you have someone that is in complete control and uses that control to manipulate situations, and they will do anything to maintain that control, it becomes toxic. It become, you emasculate the male, your male partner. And you're seeing a classic example of it with Johnny Depp and Rob. Their masculinity has been diminished. I mean, everyone has been running around here making a joke out of Will Smith being emasculated, basically getting his balls clipped, being neutered. You know, people are making that little joke saying that, oh, he's neutered. Jada done clipped his balls. This man ain't a man. And that's toxic masculinity right there, is, when men do that to other men, saying that you're not a man, da 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 da. That's showing toxic masculinity. Females do that too, to each other. But I'm just talking about how women, I want to showcase how some women will go to any lengths to maintain control, and that control become toxic to their partner because it's diminishing their partner. You're pretty much basically having your partner in a box where they can't do anything. Will, I'm not making it, no excuses for Will. Trust me, I'm not. Will should not have done what he did, but Jada has some responsibility, not all, because she doesn't control Will. Will controls his reactions to things, but her actions over the years caused him to react that way. And I'm not saying that he hasn't done anything to cause her to react certain type of ways, but when you look at as you look at the situation as it stands, like right now, it shows toxic femininity. You know, they act like they're separated. Will seemed like he done went off and did his own thing, and Jada's doing her own thing. She's making red carpet appearances without Will, you know? And then she's going about her life like nothing has happened. She started back filming the Red Table Talks. Whether the slap heard and felt across the world will be a topic, I'm not sure. But it should be, because you need to talk about toxic femininity. Look at Amber and Johnny Depp's entire trial, which I've been laughing my bloody head off. I don't know about y'all, but I've been laughing my bloody head off about this trial, because I'm looking at this woman who clearly, you can tell, is lying about a lot of things. But then you looking at Johnny, who's making everybody laugh because he can't control his facial features and everything like that, when due to the testimony and things that her lawyers are doing, which is beyond weird, and what the judge is allowing in the court. But I'm just saying, I'm listening to the testimony and I'm seeing she has no proof of things. She can't recall things. If someone has hit me and I got bruises, or somebody has slapped me numerous times and things like that, and I have video of it, why would I not have made that available to the court? Why make that available to a friend, but not to the court as evidence? A lot of things don't add up. You have a lot of these witnesses that saying, I didn't see anything. I'm seeing bruises on him and not her. And a lot of her testimony seems like she starts a situation, Johnny reacts or tries to go get away from the situation, and she doesn't want him to, so she creates drama to keep him there, that's toxic femininity. Also, someone that is, likes attention. I don't know what these are two people. I believe, this is my opinion. These are two people that should never have been together. But you can't help who you fall in love with. But they clearly got to a point where they were just like, well, let's go our separate ways. Why she went ahead and made that op-ed to try to out Johnny as a villain, that was her prerogative. But what did she think she was going to gain from that? Did she really think that the world was going to view Johnny as a villain and her as a victim? And now we're going through a whole stupid trial, an entire bloody trial, where she's getting caught up in a bunch of lies and falsehoods. This is just my opinion. And this is an example of using your femininity to excuse your behaviors. So it's okay for you to hit a guy because you're a female, but he's not supposed to hit you back because you're a female. You're using your gender to excuse your behaviors and avoid consequences. That's toxic femininity. I mean, this is clear-cut toxic femininity. Then there's the white girl tears, and if we really want to go into that, then there's that as well. Just saying, there's that as well. So I'm getting a headache watching his trial, and I'm like, this is just two toxic people. Two toxic people. Sorry, not sorry. This is two toxic people that should never have been together. Yes, Johnny has lost money. She's about to lose a bunch of money. She's supposed to be an Aquaman, and word has it on the street that her role has been diminished to just 10 minutes. Have anybody seen anybody promote this movie? I haven't seen Jason Momoa, who's Aquaman, promote this movie. I haven't seen them two in the same room trying to promote this movie. I don't even see her on the beat trying to promote this movie. Now there's a petition going out against her to like get her removed from Aquaman. So I'm looking like, as much as she's trying to ruin Johnny's life, she's ruining her own life. And what is up with her pretty much dressing like him? Is she like talking to his team like, what is Johnny wearing today, so I can mirror what he's wearing? What type of morbid, weird thing is that? He's wearing a suit, you're going to wear a suit. I mean, and then she's showing contempt. That's another toxic femininity trait. You're on stand showing contempt during his entire testimony. I guess I'm also heard that that's showing narcissism. But I'm just cracking up throughout the entire trial, because I'm sitting up here like, some stuff that's happening shouldn't be happening. And I'm just like, okay, the judge must be just trying to make a record just in case somebody appeals something. Just saying. Then you have Blac Chyna and Rob. Now, we know that them two people, I don't know how and why them two people ended up together. That was an opportunity that presented itself. And whether they actually was in love, I don't know. But Rob seemed like he's a recluse, and he may have some, issues with depression or whatever. That's just my opinion, because you never see Rob. Rob does not like the spotlight. So he looked like he's the only Kardashian that doesn't like the spotlight. But him and Blac Chyna being together, I could tell that Blac Chyna will be aggressive and have toxic behaviors. but she wants to pull the I'm a woman card and I deserve X, Y, and Z. You want to use your gender to excuse your behavior. Oh, I'm on my cycle this month, or it's coming, or I'm PMSing. You're using that as an excuse for your behavior, trying to get, as a cop out. You know, that's a trait of toxic femininity, you know, and you're using that as a way to control a situation or get out of being blamed for a situation. You're using like your feminine wiles to get out of a situation or have a situation go your way. Now, Blac Chyna's situation, her defamation case against the Kardashians looks like that didn't go through. She may appeal it, and she may lose that as well. We don't know. And what's the consequences behind all of this? What's going to happen with her custody case? I believe that's the custody case is pretty much over. But Rob can go to court and severely limit her visitation with her daughter. Based off of this, because of the accusations that came out. Her pointing a gun at his head, and all these different wild, crazy jumping on his back, and I'm going to kill you. All these different accusations. Those are damaging. Those are damaging. So if they ever have to go back to court over their child, all of this is going to come up. So you have like 3 cases of toxic femininity, I believe, that's in the media. And this is something we all need to talk about, because we always talk about toxic men. We all came across toxic men, but why aren't we talking about these toxic females? Why? Because we all know they're out there. We're looking at 3 right now. We're looking at 3 right now. And look at Roe versus Wade. It was leaked just recently that might be, overturned. So if they go ahead and overturn Roe versus Wade, you have men that's of power, in power, using their power, using their gender, their maleness to dictate what women can do to their body. Seriously? Seriously. That's a toxic situation. And then what's to say if that happens, it gets even worse, where women use their sex, their gender, say, okay, this is my body. I'll go ahead and have as many kids as you pump into me, but you're going to pay. The man is going to pay for the child. We're going to start, the women probably going to start entrapping men, have babies to try and entrap men, get them on child support. The government is going to have to pay for it. It creates, getting rid of Roe versus Wade creates an entire toxic situation. A complete toxic situation. It's crazy. So you're seeing many examples of not just toxic masculinity, but toxic femininity as well. Toxic females are in the workplace. I just gave you the example of entirely female dominated workplace, where you have female management. They use their power to pick and choose who they want to mess with, who's the flavor of the week or the month, and that person is going to feel it. That subordinate is going to be micromanaged, and until they pick on somebody else. They're using their position to make their subordinate's life a living hell. They target people. This happens at work. I know that you guys probably experienced it. I know I have. But we need to talk about toxic females because they are out here and it needs to be discussed. If we're going to talk about toxic males, we need to talk about toxic females as well. We can't just have it just one way. Because you got these toxic females, I've seen them. You got these toxic females that, are having kids and they're using the kids to dictate what the man is going to do, and vice versa. The man is trying to use the kids to dictate what the woman is going to do, even though they may be separated and moved on with other partners. You know? So my question is, why are we not talking about toxic femininity? Why is this not, are we too afraid to own up to the fact that toxic females exist? Or is it easier to just focus on the men and blame everything on the men? Is that the thing? Why aren't we talking about this? We're out here protesting and holding up, signs and trying to hold men accountable for things. But why aren't we holding women accountable? I'm seeing more women that are walking away from their own kids, you know, dropping the kids off with their dad and just say, hey, have a good life. I'm seeing a lot of that because they want to go out and live their own life. I don't blame them, but them your kids. I'm just saying. So you guys sound off and let me know what's good, because this is just crazy. I've had these conversations with my friends, just, light conversations, because it's like no one wants to really talk about it. No one really wants, it's like no one really want to touch upon it. No one wants to, discuss it. But now that we got, female celebrities out here showing toxic behaviors, now we want to start talking about it and call people on the carpet. When we've been calling men on the carpet for, decades. And they've been trying to call us on our carpet, and we sitting up here like, nah, the problem ain't me, it's you, dude. Knowing full well the problem may be us. Look, I know I got a toxic side of me. It comes out. But I try to control her. I really do. And why is it that toxic females feel the need to emasculate the men that they are with? Now, if the guy did that to her, Sheila, are you there? Can you hear me? Yes or no, Sheila? Okay, 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 good. Thank you. Okay, good. Thank you. I'm glad you was able to get that fixed, Paris. So, what is it with these toxic females? Why do they feel the need to emasculate the men that they're with? I mean, does it make them feel better? Make them feel like they have control? Why is that? Is it because it happened to they was, a situation happened to them, so where they was diminished and felt, less than, and so when they moved into another relationship, they made bloody sure they never happened again. They beat the man to the punch first, and they just constantly were going to beat that man down. What good does that do? What good does that really do to emasculate a man? Some men probably do like toxic women, and that's how they get their rocks off. But either way, it's a form of abuse. Now, when we see men doing that to females, we cry like, "Oh, that's abuse. You need to get out that relationship," and this, that, and the other. But when the shoe is on the other foot, we don't say nothing about the man. We sit there like, "Oh, you need to man up and speak out." You know, we always talking about be a man about it. Put your big boy pants on and go handle your business. But when we say that, we're promoting toxic masculinity. We're reinforcing that. And then he in turn try to, puff his chest out at his girl, and he might get clocked for it. And then next you know, he got beat down again, emotionally and physically. And it's embarrassing. I'm like, I know Johnny coming out, pretty much is like probably like embarrassed that this has happened to him, and he allowed a female to do that to him. I know it's kind of probably embarrassing for Will to go through what he did with Jada. All of it's public and being criticized everywhere you go and looked at differently. It's embarrassing. And I believe that embarrassment drove Will to do what he did on Oscar night. It's just sad that we don't, as people, we don't discuss both sides of it. We want to showcase the toxic men, but we don't want to say anything about the toxic females. We need to talk about both because they both exist, and it's a problem. If a man diminishes a female, they wrong. Then if a woman diminishes a man, they wrong. They should be wrong as well. You shouldn't diminish anybody just based on their sex, their gender. That's just me. That's just my opinion. But we like looking at the toxic stuff because it's drama. Yeah, I understand that men do like aggressive females, and it comes off as if they're emasculating them. Um, you could be a dominant female, but you don't have to emasculate your partner. If your partner doesn't feel emasculated, then that's between y'all, you know. But you could be masculine without being toxic. A woman should be able to walk down the street in whatever outfit she decides to wear, long as it's appropriate for outside. Can't just go out here and butt booty naked. Even though I wish that we could sometimes, because summer get hot. But men should be able to control themselves when they see a woman go by wearing whatever it is that she's wearing, and not and control themselves to from catcalling and following a female for 10 blocks that they don't even know, just to try to intimidate her into giving out her phone number to them or showing them some type of attention. That's toxic masculinity. Women can't go up to guys and just arbitrarily grab they privates out in public. I know it happens, but we get frowned upon for doing that. But it's okay for men to be running around here grabbing our private areas all in public, and bending us over in different situations for pictures and whatnot because they think it's cute. Yeah, my favorite word is no as well. But sometimes they don't understand the word no. They think since you're kikiing and laughing that it's okay. But and also I want to say, since you said men always like the weirdest stuff, women like the weirdest stuff too. Some women like overly dominant men because that's what they're used to. That's what they saw growing up and was considered acceptable. So that's what they like. You like what you like, but we can't sit up here and say, oh, men shouldn't do this to women, is this and this, that, and other, but we as women want to do it to God, do the same thing, the weird stuff to guys, and we should get a pass for it. If we're calling men out for certain things, they need to call we women should be able to be called out about certain things as well. And that's bullying in and out of the workplace. That's for females, that's what we do. If you in a female dominated workplace, the cattiness, the snide talking, the backstabbing, all of that go on. And for what? We all the same monkeys in the bloody barrel trying to get out the barrel. It's just something's higher up than others. But why make the other ones' lives live in hell because they down below? That makes no sense. But I really didn't know that that's what it was called. When you have a female dominated workplace, you have toxic femininity that shows up. And I did not know that until I started researching this topic. Now I know that that's considered toxic femininity, and I'm sitting up here like this. Oh wow, it's a lot of things that's considered toxic femininity, and I'm just sitting here like, oh wow, that's that's crazy. Because I gave you the example of a woman who berates their teammates, or berates men and say, "Oh, I'm PMSing." We got that example. Then you have people who take credit for stuff that you do. That's toxic because you not in the position. I'm talking about the workplace. You're not in the position to say anything or speak up for yourself. That's considered toxic femininity because your boss is doing that. A person who wants to who pushes their views they onto you and makes you accept them, even though that's not something that you ascribe to yourself, but you're being bullied into it. That's toxic femininity. Then there's the body shaming, the subtle body shaming and whatnot. It's so much toxic femininity that goes on in the dang on workplace, and I myself may even be a culprit of that as well. Low key, I'm gonna own up to my ish. But this is something that we definitely need to talk about. Definitely need to talk about this because it doesn't get talked about enough. It really doesn't. We all talk about the men. Yes, we women in the workplace is a hot, bloody mess. That's for sure. That is for sure. But this is a topic that we need to talk about because it becomes a problem. And we wonder why in the workplace, especially in the female dominated workplace, nothing gets done. Nothing gets done. Have you guys noticed that nothing gets done because it's always a bloody circle? But going back to the topic, look at Jada, Amber, and Blac Chyna. You would never think that these three women, if you just looked at them, you would never think that they had toxic behaviors unless you saw the stuff that they do. If we never saw any other stuff that happened that came to the media, if none of that came to the media, our views of them would be completely different. We probably would believe that, I fully believe that Johnny and Amber, they did things to each other. I'm not saying Johnny is an angel. We all know Johnny ain't no dang on angel. We know that. We know that. Will and they both ain't angels. None of these people are. But if their toxic behaviors never came to the media, would we believe the story that we will believe will be completely different? We will be thinking that Will is at home beating the mess out of Jada, or that his perpetual cheating is causing her to do certain things. Will be sitting up here thinking that, maybe Amber did something to set Johnny off. And I can't say Rob did anything to set Chyna off because we all saw how Chyna was. And I agree, Paris. Chyna is wild. You see her moms. You see Tony out here, Tokyo Tony. You see her moms. So it's just sad that as a society we focus more on men and holding them responsible and don't want to hold women responsible. Women have been getting away with a lot of ish. I'm one of them, and I liked it. But when you call me out on my ish, I try to own it. Like, ooh, my bad, I'm sorry. See, so y'all already know how she is. So, but when I get called out on my ish, I get called out on my ish. It is what it is. I own up to it. I try to. With certain people, I do try to, the whole crying thing, and sometimes that don't work. That don't work. I really gotta own up to my ish. Then I'll just be like, all right, fine, y'all done caught me. All right, bet. Which I want. How you want me to fix this? You know. But we can't continuously do that. You know. I try to be conscious when, it's that time of the month, and I just be like, look, y'all know what's about to happen. So I'm gonna go in my room and I just want to be left alone. I try to be conscious about that. I try not to use that as an excuse. use it as an excuse to get out of work, maybe, but you know, not an excuse to be sitting up there hitting on people and this that. I ain't about that. But when I know I'm not in the best of moods, I try to forewarn people and I'll just be like, you know what, y'all just leave me alone. I ain't with it today. I ain't with it. I just, let me do me. Let me do me. Well, with that being said, I hope you guys like this Kiki, even though that there was some technical difficulties. But I do want to thank you guys for joining me this evening. That's for sure. So thank you guys for joining me this evening. And I hope you go ahead and like and subscribe if you are not part of the family already. Don't forget to hit the bell notification if you're part of the replay gang. Don't forget to hit that bell notification so you'll be notified each time I upload a new video and go live. Okay? So with that being said, I will go ahead and end this Kiki. Thank you guys for joining me again. And I will catch you guys next week. Good night, all.